Hi, it's Taylor with Mom on the Spectrum. My cat Beltray actually just got here. He's in my lap, but he's just out of frame. So hopefully you'll see him pop his cute little head up, but you might hear some purring on the microphone. That's what's going on. Today, I want to talk about the intersection of autism and finances and how I've made some changes in that area to better support my life. First, before we jump into that, I want to make sure that you know about my brand new resource called How to Unstuckify Your Life. This is a, I think, 52-page guide that I've created to walk autistic people step by step through life upgrades. So a lot of times when we're late diagnosed, either professionally or self-diagnosed, we've spent decades without the right resources and support and tools that we need and deserve. And so we're kind of left, looking at this version of ourselves and all these pieces of us that we don't quite know what to do with or how to build a life out of. That's what I'm here to help you do. So I'm so proud of this guide. You can find a link to it in the description. I also run a 4-week support group based off of this guide if you're looking to go a little bit deeper with some community support. Speaking of community, so glad you're here. This is my channel, Mom on the Spectrum, and one of my main goals here is to connect autistic adults through community events and classes. If that sounds like something that might be helpful to you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video so you can stay up to date with all the latest resources. With that being said, let's jump right in. Can you hear him purring? Okay, so autism and finances. How do these things relate? Okay, so this message is not going to be for everyone, and I hear you. I'm just asking you to listen with an open mind and take what works for you, leave what doesn't, as always with all of my videos, okay? So in a nutshell, I have lived with kind of a scarcity mentality of needing to, at one point I was an extreme couponer. Okay, like where you hoard magazines, hoard is a strong word, where you compile lots of magazines, cut out all the coupons, and then you stack them and you go at different weeks, different days to get the max discount, okay? That's kind of the mindset that I've come from of let me pinch every penny and save every dollar. Okay, well, I'm stepping into a new mindset that feels much better, not of scarcity, but of abundance that, it's kind of that same concept of other people's success doesn't take away from your success or the possibilities in your life, right? Just because somebody has something doesn't mean that there's less of it for you. So switching into this more abundant mindset, it really has had huge health benefits for me. I've started to become more aware of instances where I feel really tight and tense and stressed because of a financial mindset that I have, there's not going to be enough or I'm not saving enough or whatever. And I remind myself, okay, there's never been a day when I haven't had what I need. I've always had food, I've always had shelter, I've always had clothing. And I realize, I am very grateful for my circumstances and that I'm not taking that lightly, right? I know that not everybody is going to be in the same financial boat. But I think for most of us, for many of us who deal with this scarcity mindset, we have had everything that we've needed to survive every day. And so I remind myself of that. And also a really big change, huge change that I've allowed myself to start making in my life is using my finances to pay convenience fees. It still hurts to say, I know. To pay for grocery delivery, to pay for grocery pickup, to have DoorDash delivered to my house, right? Not every day, not all the time, but the previous version of myself would have said, I can drive to the store, I'm not going to pay the extra money. I can drive to the restaurant to pick up the food, I'm not going to pay the extra money. But that's also based on kind of a neurotypical understanding of myself and the world. And part of what really helps me regulate is automating processes, is having other people help me do things. And especially as a single mom, I need a lot of help doing things because there are a lot of things on my plate. And so I've started allowing myself to spend money to automate processes, to make things easier for me, especially on tough days. Like some days when I'm really overwhelmed with the kids, I'm going to spend money on DoorDash. And it's not easy for me to do. There's so much of me that wants to say, I'm just going to drive to the restaurant. But then I got to get the kids in the car and I got to, all the things. It just becomes more stressful. So I'm allowing myself to use money. Again, I realize I'm very grateful to be in a position where I can do that. More on that in a second. But I'm allowing myself to use my finances, to use my money to make my life easier. And I started in very small ways, right? Grocery pickup, $5, right? In most places it's free now. But just in little tiny ways, making my life easier by spending my money on things that make it more convenient to do what I need to do. That is so helpful for neurodivergent people who have trouble transitioning between activities, who have trouble starting to cook dinner in the kitchen, and especially for people who live by themselves without another adult like me. It can be so beneficial to be able to have extra support to help you, especially on days when your executive functioning is really struggling. The other thing I wanted to say, I definitely am grateful and I don't take it for granted to be in the position where I am, where I can spend money on convenience fees. But I also want to say the more we prioritize our mental health and well-being, the more space it creates in our lives to do other things. So like if you can start small by using your money to invest in yourself and your mental health and well-being, I think you'll find that it creates more avenues for financial growth and financial prosperity and financial success. Because the more we operate out of a scarcity mentality, the more we live in that mentality. I mean, it seems obvious to say it out loud, but the more what we focus on, we create more of. So if we're always thinking, I don't have enough money to do that, I don't have enough money to do that. Okay, while that may be true, is there a smaller step you can take that you do have money for that will help you feel supported, right? Start small. How does it feel to support yourself with your money? And then see if you can think ahead, maybe budget for 1 or 2 things at a time that are going to reduce the stress level in your life, and see how it frees up your cognitive space to focus on other things. Like for me as an entrepreneur, investing my money in ways that simplify my life, it actually allows me more creative processing space to focus on my business, to bring more money in through my business because I'm focused less on the stresses of everyday life. I'm allowing myself to automate some processes that make my workday easier, and that allows me to show up more fully and more successfully in my job. So again, this message is not for everybody. If you find yourself in a place where this message is really upsetting to you, I would just say to take some time, allow yourself to feel any feelings that might come up, like anger, resentment, frustration, overwhelm. Let yourself feel those feelings without judgment. And then just maybe ask yourself, if I could envision a more abundant life for me, what would that look like? And envision that without judgment, come from a place of curiosity. And then I would encourage you to take one small, tiny baby step towards believing in that abundance today, because it's there for you. I'm here to believe it if you don't yet believe it for yourself. Hope this was helpful to you. Remember to check out my How to Unstuckify Your Life guide in the description below, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.